Call 1-800-614-1104 or go online at handyheater.com. Order now.
I'm not cut out for an office job, so I prefer working in other cafes and in co-working places. Sharing same Wi-Fi spots can lead to some really serious invasions. VPN gives me peace of mind when I use unsecured public networks.
NordVPN secures your internet traffic with strong encryption. It offers easy access to hundreds of servers. Get NordVPN for only $4 a month. Visit nordvpn.com/TV now.
Tomorrow's headlines before they go to print.
What would your lead be about this event at the White House?
Tomorrow's questions before anyone's asked them.
How far is this from normal?
Tomorrow's conversation tonight.
As you delicately put it, this is a president who plays rather than chess.
I don't think there was any strategy here.
The 11th hour with Brian Williams. More than the day that was, it's the day that will be.
It is never boring around here.
The 11th hour, weeknights at 11 on MSNBC.
The book is best understood as a work of very poorly written fiction. And I also will say that the author is a garbage author of a garbage book. And the tragic thing about this book, and there are many things about it that are unfortunate, but the portrayal of the president in the book is so contrary to reality, to the experience of those who work with him, to my own experience having spent the last 2 years with him. I saw a man who was a political genius.
Trump aide Stephen Miller on CNN's State of the Union with Jake Tapper this morning, performing for an audience of one. Back with me are Jonathan Capehart, EJ Dion, Michelle Bernard, and Dana Milbank. Okay, so let's play a little bit of this interview that is rocketing around the Twitters. People are really talking about it. So let's listen to, this is cut 3 by producers, a little bit of the Stephen Miller, Jake Tapper experience.
Self-made billionaire who revolutionized reality TV and who has changed the course
he's
of our
watching
politics.
and he's happy that you said that. But
Jake, you can be condescending.
I'm not being condescending. I'm trying to get to the point that Steve Bannon.
You can be condescending. That was a snide remark. You're sure he's watching and he's happy. Let me tell you something. Your network, you can be as condescending as you want. It's part of your MO. But listen, you can have 24/7.
I have no idea why you're attacking me.
Well, I'll explain to you.
My point is.
Okay, so he was watching, because Trump tweeted at that interview, Jake Tapper of fake news CNN just got destroyed in an interview with Stephen Miller of the Trump administration. Watch the hatred and unfairness of this CNN flunky. He got destroyed. It sounds like a regular Twitter troll.
Great how the more they deny the book, their antics confirm everything in the book. And one of my favorite things denied by Katie Walsh, the former deputy chief of staff, was like, it's like trying to figure out what a child wants. Does he want the ice cream cone? Does he want the cookie? And what he wanted this morning was in his id for Stephen Miller to go out there and do exactly what he just did, even if it makes the whole situation worse, because it just felt good for him in this moment, and he's not thinking about what's happening tomorrow or 5 minutes from now. I want this now.
Yeah, he's like a toddler. It's like managing a child. All right, let's listen to another bite from it. Here's one more Stephen Miller.
This is 25th Amendment kind of stuff. This is, I mean,
anyone say that in the
West Wing to you? All the time.
25th Amendment. They would bring up the 25th Amendment?
Yes, actually they would say, we're not sort of in the mid-period. We're not at a 20.
Okay, that's not Stephen Miller. That's not cool. We're going to now play Stephen Miller. I'm just going to do that.
You got a lot of shit out here.
You would be going down, landing in descent. There'd be a breaking news development. And in 20 minutes, he would dictate 10 paragraphs of new material to address that event, and then deliver flawlessly in front of an audience of 10,000 people.
That's worship.
Well, I mean, even if, before I even get to, what he actually just said, which borders on insanity, his affect. Are you noticing his affect?
Yeah.
If you couple his affect with the affect of the president and everything the president says and the nonsense Stephen Miller just jabbered on CNN, I think we have Michael Wolff's argument from the 25th Amendment is absolutely dead on. I mean, if Stephen Miller is the best of the best that this administration has, and he can go on CNN, obviously with their permission, no one from the White House goes on any of the Sunday morning shows without the White House's permission.
Yeah.
We're in a very sorry state of affairs.
And EJ, I think about, whenever I think about Donald Trump, it's either you think about him being like a child. That's one way to think of it. The other way to think of it, as him being sort of Mobutu Sese Seko, right? That no one would dare say Mobutu was not the greatest leader that the Congo ever had. No one would dare say he isn't masterful. That when you read 10 pages of copy, it sounds like Shakespeare. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a way you have to deal with, to be serious, a dictatorial or authoritarian personality, that they must be praised, that they must be the best. And he performs that sort of flunky of the dictator role sort of flawlessly.
Well, he married two aspects of how do you serve an autocrat in one setting. On the one hand, go after any independent media that might ask questions about you. Thus, the attack on Jake Tapper, CNN, and by extension on everybody else who questions him is exactly what an autocratic leader does. And then the second half is exactly as you say, that the autocratic leader demands worship, demands everyone saying how brilliant he is. I mean, soon we are going to learn that Donald Trump is a brilliant cellist. And what else? And it's
Mom better watch out.
That your rival Proust. I mean, there's something very bizarre about both. One is alarming and the other is just really bizarre.
He's the Sun King, right? Okay, let's listen to another one. This is cut 2 for our producers, and this is Miller, Jake Tapper going after the way that Miller is behaving.
There's one viewer that you care about right now, and you're being obsequious, you're being a factotum in order to please him. Okay? And I think I've wasted enough of my viewers' time. Thank you, Steve. As Republicans, lawmakers call for Attorney General Jeff Sessions to resign.
Jonathan, he said you were being obsequious, and you were done.
Done. Good for Jake for doing that. And, to EJ's point, this sort of worship of President Trump, this whole audience of one, Stephen Miller, people from the administration go on television, and they're not talking to the American people. They're not saying things to bolster the democracy, to defend the administration in terms of what it is trying to do in terms of pushing or advancing American ideals at home or abroad. They are talking to the president because they know the president is listening. You read the tweet that the president tweeted out because it was proof. The president was watching Stephen Miller. Think about that. I mean, you have the authoritarian aspects of this, but you've got people and you've got a president who desperately needs praise, needs to be validated by the people who work for him, and all the while, the American people, from journalists, God bless us, who are standing up to that kind of treatment from someone in the administration, and other people who are watching and thinking, what is going on with the White House, with the administration?
I bet you he has a guillotine in the West Wing, and that's why they're performing like
that. That doesn't explain why everybody in the Congress, the Republicans, look at those clips from Camp David. They're all in their matching blue blazers with the open collar saying, what a fabulous year we've had under this great president. Orrin Hatch on the South Lawn saying, the greatest president ever.
They do not care about their legacy. I mean, that's what I don't understand. If they are motivated by ego, why does not one of them care about what history will say about
Well, you have Paul Ryan's exquisite leadership. You have it, and we're watching them there. There is a certain bowing down to Donald Trump, EJ. There's a certain sort of treating him as the Sun King. It's a very good point. It isn't just the people who work for him. It's the people in the co-equal branch of government down the way. It's Congress. It's members of Congress. Can you explain it? Is it anything that you've seen before in Washington?
Well, we've never seen anything like Trump before, so none of this makes any sense. But I think the Republicans on the one side, as you said and others have said earlier, they made a policy bet. He is doing all this deregulation, wrecking regulations to protect workers, the environment, civil rights. That's all traditional Republican stuff. They love that. They support that. They want that to continue. They got the tax cut out of it, which is what they always want.
And then some of them are going to personally benefit from financially.
Right, a lot of them will. And then on the other side, there is still this fear that Trump's base is shrinking, and there's a lot of evidence of that in the polls. But within the Republican Party, he still has a substantial majority of Republicans. A lot of these folks have reason to fear a Republican primary, not necessarily from the Bannonites, but from people who support Trump if they go after Trump. So people like Charlie Dent have left. People like Jeff Flake have left. People like Corker have left. Because they don't want to face that
And I think what we found out, there are no Bannonites. Bannon thought there were Bannonites. They're all Trumpists.
And to EJ's point, the question that comes to mind listening to EJ is, where are the statesmen?
There are none.
Where, I mean, you would think in the old days it was Lindsey Graham and Senator Grassley and those people who were standing there, and they are willing to throw American democracy, as we have known it, as the world has known it, under the bus for short-term political gain.
And it's not only people that he could have power over. When you saw the man who was fourth in line to the White House, Orrin Hatch, the President pro tem in the Senate, essentially bowing and scraping at his age, at his level of achievement and accomplishment, and just in terms of his political longevity, bowing and scraping before Donald Trump.
And
I can't understand
and
it.
he had no reason to, as
What
it
has he
turns
done?
out, since he was retiring.
Leaving.
It's absolutely baffling. I mean, the best defense I can give for all of this kowtowing is they are afraid for the country that this man actually has that nuclear button he mentioned. It turns out it only orders a Diet Coke. But maybe, he may think it's a nuclear button all at the same time. So they actually are like, let's tiptoe around, let's not get him more excited.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a weak defense. That's the best
book, and here's the book again for Donald Trump. Feel free to tweet at me, because I think it's turned out from Michael Wolff's that it's very effective at helping helping your book sales. When I have another book out, I'll let you know, Donald Trump. But I mean, he does describe here a sense of a need to manage him, a sense of a need to manage his rage, and that if you don't give him praise, if you don't give him love and the things that fill that deep hole inside of him, you don't know what he's going to do.
Well, I mean, they know what no one knows what he's going to do, but they also at the same time know that they can't control him.
Yeah.
So the question is,